Hey Disney, what the heck is this? How did you let this happen? Alright, I know I'm late to the party, and maybe this video is gonna feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but I feel like I need to give my take on this movie because, oh boy, it is not great. And I don't think people truly understand why it is so bad. I've decided to break up this video into 3 segments: the characters, the music, and the animation/art style. So without further ado, let's get into it. If you took every Disney protagonist and combined them into one character, you would get the main character of this movie. Aja is a completely average protagonist. I wouldn't say she's unlikable, but I also wouldn't say that she's particularly interesting or memorable. Honestly, I don't know if she has a single character trait that hasn't been done better by another Disney protagonist. It kind of feels like the writers wanted Aja's character to replicate the quirkiness of Anna, Rapunzel, and Moana, but they forgot to give her any characteristic that could set her apart from them, and it makes her character feel uninspired and generic. King Magnifico is easily the best part of this movie. Even still, I don't know if the character entirely works for me. At first, I was really on board. We're finally getting a Disney villain. It seems like he's gonna be a nuanced character with actual motivations. But no, he gets corrupted by a bad guy magic book and becomes completely evil. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind a villain who's evil for the sake of being evil, but I wish that this movie would have committed to one or the other. Either give him a compelling motivation for the bad things he's doing, or just lean into him being a bad guy from the start. Everyone else in this movie is so boring. The idea of Aja's friends being based on the designs and characteristics of the 7 dwarfs is kinda cool, and a fun way to reference Disney's first full-length animated movie, but there are just too many of them, and as a result, none of them really get developed beyond their one surface-level personality trait. Alan Tudyk Goat is the source of all of my depression. I now know why every other 3D animated Disney movie chose to keep the funny animal sidekicks silent. Because when you let them talk, you get lines like this.
My butt found it.
Alan Tudyk, I will forgive you for this atrocity if you reprise your role as K2SO in Andor Season 2, please and thank you. Luma, I mean, the star in this movie is fine, but I'll be honest, I am kind of bummed that they didn't go with the original concept of the star being a magical shape-shifting boy. I think they could have done a lot with that idea, both story and animation-wise. I was about to move on, but my brother is mad that I didn't talk about the grandpa character, so I'm just gonna let him take over for a minute.
Hello everybody, I'm here to discuss the true GOAT of this movie. Move over Valentino and make room for Sabino. When I watched this film in theaters, I truly wasn't ready for the terrible music, bland art style, unfunny jokes, and poorly written characters. But there was one character who was so cool, so funny, and so inspiring that I just had to talk about him in this video, and that is the grandpa. Okay, but in all seriousness, he's like the only character who isn't annoying, written badly, or both. He's just a wholesome old guy who wants to help inspire the youth of the kingdom. I mean, it's not deep or impactful or anything, but I don't know, I just like him. He's cool. He's the only character I'm somewhat happy with when they come up on the screen. Also, he's the only character that doesn't make terrible quips or jokes. His butt didn't find it, and his genes don't come from outer space. So in conclusion, Sabino was cool, but Wish still sucks. Sorry.
Thank you for that. That was really inspiring. I truly felt all of the emotions. And while I'm thinking about it, if any of you want to subscribe to my little brother's channel, I'll link it in the description. Okay, let's talk about the music. I've seen a few comments from people who like the music in this movie. That is totally fine. You are welcome to have your own opinion. My opinion is that the music is not good. And I'm gonna break down why it left me and so many others wanting more from it. For a movie that is celebrating 100 years of Walt Disney animation, the music does not sound like Disney music at all. Come on, Disney. Music is like the one thing you're consistently good at. Even Frozen 2 managed to have some bangers. But no, the music in this movie sounds like generic pop music you'd hear on the radio. Wait a minute. You're telling me that it was made by the people who create generic pop music for the radio? Justin Bieber's producer? I guess if the Disney executives wanted the music to be indistinguishable from any song in the top 100, they got their wish. Because not a single song on this track list feels distinct. Every song sounds like the song before it. That's not even an exaggeration. There are literally 2 songs that have nearly identical beginnings. And the lyrics in these songs are some of the most ridiculous lyrics I've ever seen in an animated movie. Let's go through a few of my favorites. Ooh, I'm a star, watch out world, here I are. So I look up at the stars to guide me and throw caution to every warning sign. I can't help it if mirrors love my face. It's genetics, I got these genes from outer space. Oh my gosh. Peep the name, I'm magnificent. I never want to see another Disney movie use the phrase, peep the name, ever again. I let you live here for free, and I don't even charge you rent. Him saying that he lets them live there for free implies that he doesn't charge rent, so I don't know why they had to say it twice, but whatever. Okay, I have to move on from reading these lyrics. The cringe is just too much for me. While we're talking about the music, I have a few critiques that I couldn't fit into any other spot, so I guess I'll just talk about them right now. Despite its horrendous lyrics, I think that This Is the Thanks I Get might be my favorite song from this movie. But it doesn't sound like a villain song. The chorus has these super upbeat do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do's that just feel out of place. It feels like the song was written for another character, and at the last second they just gave it to the bad guy. Speaking of songs that feel out of place, At All Costs is super weird. In the theater, I remember thinking that it sounded like a love song. Well, guess what? It was! It was supposed to be a duet between Aja and the original version of The Star. I'll put a link to the original demo in the description in case you want to listen to it. I think it's slightly better than the final version of the song. Okay, I promise I'm almost done ragging on the music, but there's one more thing that drives me crazy that I will admit is probably just me, but I need to talk about it. Aja's voice actor, Ariana DeBose, is clearly a talented singer, but I can't for the life of me figure out why she didn't add some variety to her delivery of the line,
"To have something more for us than this."
She sings that phrase 3 times in the song This Wish and delivers it the same way every single time.
This.
I would understand if she spoke the word this once or even twice, but all 3? It just ends up sounding repetitive and kinda silly by the 3rd time. A lot of the discourse surrounding this movie has been about its animation and art style. I think the animation itself is pretty good. The characters are animated with a lot of personality and fluidity. I particularly like the way they animated King Magnifico's magic, but I have to admit, I'm not a fan of the art style. I get they were trying to make it look like a hybrid of 3D and 2D animation, which is a cool idea, and I'm more than happy to give them props for trying something new. It just doesn't work for me. I feel like the art style used in this movie makes everything look really cheap, flat, and kinda devoid of life. It looks like a low-budget TV show, and not a movie that was released to theaters. Kinda depressing when you realize this movie cost $200 million to make. Disney marketed Wish as a movie 100 years in the making, a celebration of Disney's animation and all the hard work, time, innovation, and creativity that went into creating so many classic films. I guess that's why this movie is so disappointing. Wish had the potential to be something special, but it was bogged down by cringy writing, music that almost sounds like it was written by AI, and an over-reliance on Easter eggs and references. I will be curious to see how we look back on this movie in a few years. Maybe Disney will continue to pump out vapid, uninspired, and soulless movies, and this one will somehow look good by comparison. But my hope is that Disney will take a step back and look at the mistakes they've made with this film and actually learn from them. It's possible. I mean, Sony Animation made the Emoji Movie before they made Into the Spider-Verse. Who's to say Disney can't do the same? Maybe, just maybe, Disney's next masterpiece is just around the corner. Alright, that's all I've got for today. What are your thoughts on Wish? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Okay, see you next time.
My butt found it.